Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the brand new Matt Kim podcast. Oh, wait, Will, cut the music real quick. Cut the music. Give me this camera right here. Give me this camera right here. Relax. Relax. Peter's not going anywhere. He's going to be back for the show. He's going to be part of the regular show once a week like we have been doing for the last 3 years. Relax. People are like, oh no, the world is falling. We replaced Peter with the girl with the glasses and the crop top. Bro, we're trying new things. We're experimenting, evolve or die. Peter will be back for the show. We've released our episode for this week already. I think it went up on Monday. The next week, we will probably record on Monday as well. So, relax. All will be fine. Let's not panic. Oh, no, I can't believe he caught Peter. And Peter, I bet you, let's go back here. I bet you, Peter is reading these comments over the last 2 days going, ha, 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 I told the fuckers. You know, I'm so essential. They love me. Peter, we love you. He's not going anywhere. Relax.
He's just a busy guy.
Yeah, Peter works on his own schedule. Will and I are in the studio more often. And the only way to get more content out, to do more episodes, to do more things is if we do a different format. Because Peter and the show and the conversations that we have on a weekly basis, that will continue. A lot of people think that Peter and I see each other all the time. But the reality is I see Peter once a week. And the once a week I see him is when we record. And that's just been our relationship and our life for the last, 2.5 years or whenever we started this. So, relax. Peter's not going anywhere. He will come back with his Roman salutes next week. And by the way, I think we're going to his event tomorrow.
Yes.
If you're in Atlanta, he's having some sort of finance event. Ping him, DM Peter for details. No, I just know it's downtown somewhere. And we're going to go put our monkey suits on, pretend like we're important, and maybe even pretend like we know what we're talking about. But we will be there at the event tomorrow. So that's where we are. No AI co-host today. The AI co-host is an experimentation. We're trying it. I'm not telling you guys that it's going to be scrapped forever. It was a first iteration. Just want to see and get a response and feel. We know it's not ready for production yet. But again, we are in the process of experimenting, trying new things, seeing what the version of an additional show on this channel would look like. So be patient, understand that we are in learning mode. Oh, the world is ending. The world is ending. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. What we're going to do is yesterday we did a bunch of stories and we kind of spent our time on each story, but it wasn't a lot of time, but a little bit of time. We're going to try an episode today where we try to get through the stories a little bit quicker, kind of the trending news of the day, if you will. What do you want to say? Like your daily rundown. The only place on the internet you should come to get your news because we will present them here. And we'll present them here, maybe not first, but the ones that we think are important. So to top it off, first news of the day. Roll this clip. Trump is talking about how he is using the CIA in Venezuela.
Why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged...
Well, I can't do
drug
that, but I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela.
Okay, I got a ton of questions. Number one, he totally just said out loud that he has authorized the CIA to have covert operations in Venezuela. Okay. We are bombing the ships and the boats coming from Venezuela into the United States. We're saying it's because of drugs. We actually don't know. We don't know who they're blowing up. Logic says if there are drugs coming over on speedboats from Venezuela to the United States and it's an ongoing problem, logic says that you would take one, interview them, interrogate them, maybe even torture them. I don't know. And be like, dude, who are you working for? Where are you going? Because what that means is there is someone on this side of the water that is waiting for the delivery of their product. Okay. But instead, we're just blowing them up. Okay. Makes sense. Great. Number two, Trump just said they emptied all their prisons and sent all their bad guys to the United States. That's what he said. Then who are we blowing up? Why do we want to take them out? I thought they sent all their bad guys here. They emptied out all the prisons and sent them all here. Great. Okay. Fair. Get rid of them. But if they're all here because they emptied them out and they all came to the United States, then what are we going after over there? And then you're like, well, a second. Venezuela, they are actually sitting on the largest oil reserve. And all of a sudden, the CIA operating, they're doing a regime change. The woman that is challenging Maduro for power is the one that got the Nobel Peace Prize. Is that correct, Will?
Yep. And she dedicated it to Trump.
Funny. And you see kind of all these really odd pieces all over coming together. You're like, wait a second. The CIA is in Venezuela. We're blowing up Venezuelan ships. We don't know who actually was on them. No one's ever told us. How do we know there's drugs on there? You just blew it up. Where are you getting this information from? Is it from your CIA information? If that's coming from the CIA, why don't you stop them before they get on the way here? Why are you just blowing them up? And how much money are we spending to blow up these ships on the water, by the way? And is it okay to just blow up? I saw this study. It said that in California, when they arrest drug boats or alleged drug boats for trafficking, what they found is that 1 in 5 boats that they actually take over don't have drugs, that they were just fishermen. 1 out of 5. Okay. So we blew up 7 boats so far. I think 7, 11, one of those two. 7 or 11? I don't know. I think you're coming in. 7 or 11. So, stupid. So if you have 7 or 11 boats, that means like 1 or 2 of the boats that they've blown up actually didn't have any drugs. If you just take the law of averages of what we already know to be true. So we're just blowing up people. We have the CIA operating. We don't even know if they're the ones sending these boats, if they're ones that are helping move these boats, because once CIA gets involved in these covert operations and kind of taking over and overthrowing government, it becomes a huge problem. But don't worry. Trump says he's going after San Francisco next. Can we roll that one?
At the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco. There's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco. So I'd like to recommend that for inclusion, maybe in your next group. You'll get great support. Every American deserves to live in a community where they're not afraid of being mugged, murdered, robbed, raped, assaulted, or shot. And that's exactly what our administration is working to deliver.
Year. And I was there right after they cleaned up the streets because Kamala Harris was coming to town. Because San Francisco does this, right? They push all the homeless and all the drug users away. And it is a problem. San Francisco is... The parts of San Francisco that are bad are pretty bad. You have people on the fentanyl overdose, kind of like keeled over. I forget what you call that. And it's a problem. But San Francisco, like a lot of cities, they have moved them to kind of a certain area of the city. So the nice parts of San Francisco don't really have homeless people. next to Salesforce Park, there's no homeless people. Up on the hills, there are no homeless people because you can't really roll your cart up there because then you would go back down. The bad parts of San Francisco are bad. But now Trump is saying, hey, maybe we'll go after San Francisco next. Should the federal government decide and be the ones that clean up cities? And this is a topic that we've talked about many times. And I struggle with this because I get it. Parts of San Francisco, bad, correct. Will and I were talking about Chicago today. We got the Chicago skyline behind us today. Parts of Chicago, bad. I've been to Chicago many times. I've been to San Francisco many times. The nice parts are really nice. So we're not really going after the areas in which they care. We're just looking for an excuse to roll out military and roll out federal military into these cities. Do they need to clean up? Sure, great. But this is really a state problem, a city problem. You're like, well, if they're not going to do it, then someone has to do it for them. But why? If you live in San Francisco in one of these bad areas and it's bothering you and you say that, I get it. Maybe you want some help. But if you live in the middle of Ohio and you don't have any say or connection to San Francisco, but you're so adamant that the federal government goes into San Francisco, like ask yourself why? Why do you even care? And why should you care? And who made it your role and to decide how another city lives their life? I think it's kind of disgusting. You got to literally watch out for, out there they call them landmines. So you got to watch out for the shit so that you don't step in it. But is that responsibility of all Americans? Because that's what the federal government is, right? They're taking your tax dollars. If you live in the middle of Ohio, if you live in the middle of Georgia, if you live in the middle of North Carolina, are you okay with the fact that they're using federal dollars and federal resources in order to clean up parts of cities that you will never probably ever go in? How is that different than rolling out federal dollars, your tax dollars, to other countries? You never see that money. How is it different when the Democrats were like, well, we're going to take this federal dollars and we're going to build like equitable trees? It's like, wait, where the hell is that? Federal dollars should be used for things that help the entirety of the country. I don't know about cleaning up small sections of cities, especially if that means we are rolling out the federal troops in order to do it. I don't like the idea of normalizing federal troops within cities. We've talked about over and over and over again. Washington, D.C., Chicago, Portland, maybe LA, San Francisco, maybe you're next. Maybe the city that you live in, maybe you're next. And maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We have a lot of Trump today.
That's what I said earlier, and you said no, we don't.
Well, I think the top is a lot of Trump. Moving on, Trump says that all the foreign countries, don't worry, guys. The tariff situation is working out just fine, all according to plan, because the other countries are paying the bill.
And now we made one of the great deals with your $650 billion they pay us. And we've evened it out. It's really a good thing to see. And you have to understand, they've all signed. Japan, South Korea. I mean, South Korea, $350 billion up front. Japan, $650 billion. And they've all agreed to it. They're all happy. But before, it was a total ripoff. And if we don't have the use of tariffs, we have no national security. This country will have no financial security, will not have national security.
Okay. There's a huge problem with this statement. The huge problem with this statement is that he's lying. It's actually not true. Japan has not agreed to pay $650 billion up front. Actually, what they agreed to do is that they will invest $650 billion over the course of time, not give money, but as an investment to themselves and to their own businesses within the United States. It's not the same thing as saying, hey, they signed it, they're going to give us $650 billion. And South Korea is like, oh yeah, and South Korea signed. South Korea has not signed at all, actually. There is no deal in place. And the $350 billion, which Trump wants as an upfront lump sum payment, South Koreans said, well, if we're going to pay $350 billion, maybe we'll just invest that elsewhere. So they are actually not close on that deal, which I believe is why Trump is going to Korea next week to meet with Xi in Korea. So that's happening next week. And we'll keep track of that and see what happens there. Because Trump wants to say that this trade war is going so great. But the reality is that the price of goods has gone up, not down. The economy of stocks may be going up, but the stocks are going up because they're charging more for shit. Your dollar is worth less. It's worth less than ever it was before. There's no resolution in sight on the trade war or on the tariffs. If anything, countries are pushing back on the tariffs. It's just true. It's just the way it is. People are like, no, like these are working. No, it's not working. They are in Trump and the United States is in a huge problem with China right now. China's exports has actually gone up since the trade war. This trade war with Trump and the rest of the world is actually working out in favor of China. And people kind of have to understand that. Like, no, like China's like the biggest threat to the United States. Okay. Well, you're making them richer right now. You're making them collect. All the countries are like, well, I don't know if we want to do this tariff game with Trump. I don't know if we want to pay 15%, 25%. They don't want us to buy this. They're making it too expensive for us. So we're just going to buy from China because they're going to sell it for cheaper. And Trump's like, well, they're not being fair. They are using the trade against us. It's like, wait, you can't declare a trade war on someone and then be mad that they are playing the game that you set. All the U.S. soybean farmers, apparently, this is a thing. The soybean farmers are having a hard time because all their exports to China have essentially stopped. It is about to be harvest season. They have all this inventory that's unsold. And Argentina, who just cut a deal with the President of the United States for $40 billion. Argentina's going to get $40 billion and they're taking the soybean industry with them because they're selling it all to China. And China's like, oh, great. Your friend over there that you just paid, well, we're just going to buy their shit and we're going to buy it for cheaper and we're going to deal directly with them and you guys are cut out. So keep an eye on the economy. I feel like we're in a big bubble right now. It makes me really nervous, to be honest. And I don't see a situation where the tariffs go down, where the prices go down. I think they're going to continue to rise. Be mindful of your spending and your money. And I think most people are, because whether you want to believe it or not, you can feel it. You can feel it when you go out to eat. You can feel it when you put gas in your car. You can feel it when you're thinking about buying something and you hesitate a little bit longer than you once did before. And it would be a good thing if your hesitation meant you're saving more money. The problem is your hesitation is allowing you to live just a little bit longer. Talking about international, there was a time where, I'm going to say 10, 15 years ago. Was it 10, 15 years ago? Where the United States passport was considered the most powerful passport in the world. You can get anywhere if you had a U.S. passport. It's what everybody wanted. If you travel internationally, which I have a lot, having the U.S. passport was kind of your, oh shit, he's got one of those. It meant you can go anywhere. It gave you kind of this power and this safety throughout the world because you had a U.S. passport. But now, just in the news, what's the name of this company that does this? Well, Henley Global. They released a list of the most powerful passports in the world. And for the first time, the United States has dropped out of the top 10. And this is a weird list, by the way. For the first time, the United States has dropped. So how many countries can you travel to with the U.S. passport? 190, 180?
Yeah, 180.
You can travel to 180 countries with the U.S. passport, with number one having 196 countries, I believe. Is that right? There was a time where 193. The top of the list is Singapore, South Korea, Japan, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Spain. That kind of rolls out the top. Switzerland, Austria, Belgium. All the way at the bottom of the list, you keep on going down, keep on going down. They say out of the top 10, and they make it sound like United States is number 12. And all the news is saying, oh yeah, they dropped out top 10, now they're number 12. It's like a really weird way to look at the numbers. Because it goes like from 5 to 8 to 9 or whatever. It goes in groups rather than actual order. So if you go in actual numerical order, United States is, what was it? Well, 34th. 34th?
Yep.
34th. Most countries you can travel to without a visa, United States. It used to be higher. Couple of things to note. Because that was my gut feeling. A couple of things to note here. Number one, a lot of the passports, a lot of the being able to travel without a visa is because of the reciprocity, meaning that certain countries do a trade where you don't need a passport to come to our country, or you don't need a visa to come to our country. You don't give a visa to go to your country. The United States is shutting off a lot of their reciprocal passport or visa-free options. So you need a visa. For example, one would be Brazil. Brazil used to be able to come to the United States without a visa. You come as a tourist visa and you'll be able to come in. They have shut that off. So since the United States said, no, we're not going to allow Brazilians to come into the United States without a visa, Brazil's like, all right, you're not going to do it. You're going to do it. We're going to do it too. We're going to cut you off. So at first I was like, well, you have a U.S. passport. You should be able to go everywhere. But there's something to this. Do you want to be separated from the world? Do you want to be a part of the entire world dynamic? If you want to be a part of the entire world dynamic and you want to be able to travel everywhere freely, then they want the United States to be one of those countries that you can also travel freely to. If we are in this mode of shutting off the border and no one's allowed in the country, then more and more countries are not going to let Americans in also, because again, it's a reciprocal thing. So I envision actually that the strength of the U.S. passport and how many countries you can visit without a visa is going to continue to drop. I don't think it ends at 34. It's probably going to go all the way to like middle of the list somewhere, because as the United States keeps on cutting off visa-free travel to other countries, illegal immigration problem. I get it. That other countries will stop accepting Americans. I don't know if that's a good thing. Do you want to be able to travel freely? Do you feel like if you're an American, you should be able to go to other countries? Because the other countries are saying, well, if you guys are allowed to come here, whatever you want, we want to go there whenever you want. And you're like, well, I don't want that either. It's funny how that works. I want to be able to go to any country I want to go to because I have an American passport. But I don't want people from other countries to come here because they have another passport. I think we just continue to drop. It's going to make travel international more difficult. Like when you go to China, you need a passport, but you can get them pretty easily these days. You get a 10-day passport or a 2-year
visa.
Passport. Visa.
Yeah.
10-day visa or a 2-year visa. And it's very quick. You have to pay for it, whatever, but it's not difficult to do. And some countries you do the fake passport, the fake visa dance. I think I've done that in, I'm trying to think what country I did that in recently. Where you go to the border or you go to the airport, they give you a visa, you step across the border, and then you give them that piece of paper back because they're going to use it again. So you have to get a visa and you have to pay like $10 for it. But
that was probably Mexico, right?
Does Mexico do that? Is that Mexico?
I think you do that on the way out.
Come back here? I feel like it was maybe Dominican, maybe Jamaica.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I think I had to do that in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, not Mexico.
Our buddy, Roger Ver. Roger Ver has been a good friend of mine. I've done, obviously, the VPN project with him Roger Ver was our lead investor into it. The VPN, VP.net, the only VPN that can't spy on you. Definitely go check out VP.net. Roger Ver. They call him Bitcoin Jesus. We've talked about him in the past. If you don't know this story, he was one of the first people in the Bitcoin economy. He was one of the biggest investors in the Bitcoin crypto economy. And people are like, no, the Bitcoin is created by the CIA. No, it wasn't created by the CIA. But we'll get back into that. He's probably the number one reason why the entire cryptocurrency economy exists as today. It wouldn't exist without him. He's invested in most infrastructure projects throughout the day. The United States, because of the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency at the time, kept on coming after him with different types of lawfare. He decided he's going to give up his U.S. citizenship and go to another country because the government was just coming after him too much. He believes in freedom. He believes in freedom of commerce. He believes that currency shouldn't be tracked. These are not ideas that the government actually loves. Actually, they hate. He paid his taxes, left, because when you leave your citizenship and you have a certain net worth, you're supposed to pay all the taxes of what your assets. What do you have to do? You have to pay an exit tax. So you take all of your assets, and if I were to sell everything I own today, what would that be worth? And then you have to pay your tax on that. Roger Ver hired one of the most competent and well-known lawyers and attorneys and tax accountants to handle his exit. About maybe a year and a half ago, he released a book. The book he released was called Hijacking Bitcoin. Essentially, in the book, he claims that the CIA and intelligence agencies infiltrated the Bitcoin movement, and it became what it is today. It went from this peer-to-peer exchange of currency to this digital gold model. And he claims that it was the CIA and intelligence did it. As soon as he wrote this book with a lot of receipts, he was arrested in Spain. A month later, he doesn't even live in Spain. They found him in Spain because he was there to speak at an engagement. They arrested him at the hotel, and he's been held in Spain for the last year and a half, waiting to be sent back to the United States and face trial because they wanted to go after him for mail fraud and for not paying his taxes. They claimed he owned something like $30-something million. Except they didn't actually know how much he owed because there was no rules and regulations and laws for how to report your Bitcoin and your crypto properly at that time in 2016 when he left. Okay. He was sitting in Spain for the last year and a half, and just 2 days ago, I believe yesterday, he finally came to a settlement with the DOJ. And came to a settlement with the DOJ, and he agreed to pay $50 million one time, cash, $50 million. And what that includes is $16 million of taxes that they said he was supposed to pay but didn't, $16 million, and the rest of it in interest. And part of the agreement is that he can't say that this is all bullshit. For 3 years, he's not actually allowed to talk about the case at all. I don't think he's guilty of anything, to be honest. I think he did what he was supposed to do. And this is totally the system going after someone that built systems to go against the main system, if that makes sense. $50 million. And as soon as Roger Ver makes this deal and says, no, I won't talk about how you guys came after me. I won't talk about how you guys forced me into this agreement. I won't talk about how you shook me down for $50 fucking million while there's rappers getting pardons, while there are literal crypto scammers that knowingly defrauded the public and stole their money. They are getting pardons. Roger Ver, who tried to do it the right way, who tried to do the right thing and has actually contributed to society, he's got paid $50 million and basically 3-year probation. As soon as this comes out, Bitcoin, the official Bitcoin Twitter account. They come out and they update their profile. And the new profile of Bitcoin, which is supposed to be a peer-to-peer transaction system so that people can have commerce and trade and use currency without being tracked, without having to report to others, so that you can have an anonymous form of trade. The one that Roger Ver says CIA and Central Intelligence Agencies hijacked in order to convert it from this peer-to-peer exchange of system to digital gold. Bitcoin updates their Twitter profile, and it literally says trackable digital gold. If you're like, wait a second, it's digital gold. Well, it was not supposed to be digital gold. This is why I like some of these other freedom projects out there. Things like Xano or Freedom Dollar, or things that are supposed to be anonymous, because I believe that it is your right to use your money how you want it. If I give you $5 in cash, no one in the world needs to know that I physically gave you $5. Why is all of our money and all of our transactions tracked at all times? Well, Bitcoin, they just came out and said, look, we're tracking you. Not only are we tracking you, CIA, FBI, they come out same day and they're like, oh, look, we just seized more money. They seized your Bitcoin, whatever they want. It was not supposed to be like this, guys. It was not built so that the government can use the cryptocurrencies in order to control you. That was not the purpose. The purpose of cryptocurrency was so that you're able to transact outside of the bullshit system that they've created. Somehow, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin has become the exact same tool that it was originally trying to fight against. Bitcoin's going up. Bitcoin's going up. Sure. Why not? Because, it's the digital gold. Well, Roger Ver, welcome to freedom, bro. Happy for you, man. Hopefully, we will have Roger Ver on the show to talk about his experience and what he sees in the future sometime soon. I know that he needs to stay in Spain for the next few weeks because although the United States has dropped their charges against him, they take some time in Spain to let him go. So, Roger Ver, if you're watching, when you're a free man and you're able to roam through society freely, you're welcome on the show anytime. Talk about gold and digital gold. Everyone's noticing how the price of gold has been going up, 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 up. Has anyone checked on Fort Knox recently, actually? What do you think that there's actually gold in Fort Knox?
Probably not.
I feel like didn't this administration say that they're going to do an audit and they're going to figure it out? How come that storyline died?
I mean, they were going to release the Epstein files.
Which one comes first, the audit of the gold or the Epstein files?
It doesn't matter. None of them.
So to go back to somehow everything that we're doing in the United States just somehow ends up like helping China more. I don't know if this is intentional or it's just they're fucking up and it's happening. I'm trying not to curse. Because throughout the last 6 months, 8 months, while the value of the US dollar has been going down, China has been quietly scooping up and increasing their actual gold reserve. Actually, did you know? I saw this clip. Maybe we'll find it for next time. I saw this clip of a Chinese like actor or influencer or something, or China pop star or whatever. He was in China and he wanted to go buy a Lamborghini in gold bars and they took it.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. So they're using actual gold to transact. And they have been quietly building up their gold reserve. And the price of gold has been going up. And all over the United States, everyone's trying to sell you gold. But you don't actually own the gold. Like, so many people have these gold commercials and these gold companies that everyone's promoting. It's like a really big thing to do in the content creator market. which I think is really hilarious because you don't, like when you invest in these companies and you give them money, you're not actually buying gold because you don't get gold. You're buying like the digital right to gold and they hold the gold, but they never actually get the gold and you get the interest in the gold, or you get interest in a company that mines gold, but you don't actually ever own gold. So they call them gold companies, but you don't get gold. How can you call it a gold company and have advertisements for gold when you take the money, but you don't actually give back gold? Price of gold's going up though. And everyone's in on it. Gold, buy more gold, except we'll sell you a piece of paper that says you have right to some gold that you actually don't own because you can't ever touch it. What's the point of gold if you can't have it? Okay. Like, oh, no, but it's in a safe somewhere. Great. Call them and ask them for it. Oh, no, they don't do that.
It's
Oh,
in
then
Fort
you
Knox.
don't own it. It's in Fort Knox. I swear it's there. You can't audit it. You can't ask for it. We can't send you a picture. But trust me, this ledger right here, this little piece of paper says you own some. You're like, well, can I have my gold? No. But this piece of paper says that you have interest in a company that has some. Okay, great. Gold companies, huge scam. But because of this, price of gold is going up. And China has been accumulating and stashing and building up their physical gold reserve, like real gold, not like Fort Knox gold, but like real gold. Conveniently, after all this gold rush of people going out, buying gold, now we see in the news, according to popular mechanics, that geologists might have stumbled upon the world's largest gold mine. It's funny how that works. A supergiant gold ore deposit under an existing gold mine in China could be the world's largest gold ore deposit. As officials estimate, the extent of the gold could be 1,100 tons, stretching as deep as 9,800 feet below the surface. The find also shows promise as that of a high-quality producer of gold. After all this news about how gold is so important, gold is going up, everyone got to get gold, you got to invest in these gold companies, you got to do this gold. Oh, look, gold's going to break $4,000. Oh, no, it's going to go to $7,000 in the next 12 months. After everyone is saying that, all of a sudden, China's like, oh, oops. Guys, we kind of have a lot of it. Not only have we been buying it up, but we have the most in the world. And somehow, intentionally or unintentionally, maybe you guys know better. Maybe you guys can decide. Somehow, we're like, oh, we're going to escape from the system. We're going to invest in gold. Gold's going to go up. And through that entire process, it's just making the country that we think we're fighting against richer. Were we psyoped to the whole gold thing from the beginning? Isn't that interesting how that works? Isn't it interesting, Gavin? It's so interesting. It's really interesting, isn't it? I find it really interesting. No one's ever talked to me about like gold before. That's really interesting. Speaking of gold, President Donald Trump wants to redo the Whitehouse
We started the
Ballroom.
process and
Oh, God.
we
Fine,
started the
display.
process and we have it concluded and it's actually starting right behind us. And if you look, this is really a knockout pile. Should I show you? I guess maybe you start seeing them. So I don't really want you to walk on there, but you can take a look if you want. If you do this, because we took out all the strength from underneath that collapsed. We collapsed it over the next few days. It's could be demolished. Everything out there is coming down, and we're replacing it with one of the most beautiful ballrooms that you've ever seen.
So the narrative going around is that this is not going to be taxpayer money that's building this new ballroom, probably with a lot of gold. And that Trump is personally funding the ballroom. That's what they want you to know. That's what they want you to hear. Conveniently, they like to leave out the other people that actually are funding this. So I ran into a short list, and I thought it'd be interesting to know, like, who's actually paying for this gold ballroom. Steven Schwartzman, CEO of Blackstone. Harold Hamm, founder of Continental Resources, Winklevoss Twins, Google, Lockheed Martin, Palantir, Microsoft, Meta, RJ Reynolds, Booz Allen Hamilton, defense contractor. Whenever I see these list of names together and like paying for things for the government or giving the government money, I guess one way to think about it is, look, I know they're bad companies. I know that they do evil things. I know they actually don't care about people. I know that they're building all these systems in place in order to control the population, and that they're doing it by stealing money from the American people, but yet selling their surveillance technology to the United States. Google, Lockheed Martin, Palantir, Meta. But at least they're paying for the ballroom, so it's fine. Or is this just another way for them to pay for access? I think the minimum buy-in for this is like $1 million, up to 5 million, 10 million. They're collecting a bunch of money from a bunch of these big companies. But we're going to have a gold ballroom. How do you feel about... It's like one thing when these companies pay lobbyists. Is it better? Because these companies pay lobbyists in order to get their bills passed. They invest in these lobbyists in order to get their contracts approved in order to start new funding. Is that better, or is it better just do it the more obvious way, which is just give a bunch of money and build a gold ballroom? Moving on. New ballroom. It's going to be gold. Are they going to use real gold? I don't know. I saw this clip of, I forget who it was. It was like some Hollywood actor person, and he was on a podcast. I forget which one. Somebody. Irrelevant. I don't care about Hollywood. But some Hollywood guy. And he was talking about how he was sitting next to Trump at an event, and he was admiring his like platinum ring. And he's like, oh yeah, this is like a Harry Winston ring, and here you go. I'm going to give it to you. And he's like, oh no, I can't accept this. It's like way too much money. He's like, no. Like, I want you to have it. Trump said. So he takes it home, and he's got this new ring. Platinum Harry Winston ring. He's feeling really good about it. He's really happy. You know, President Trump just gave him a ring, and like, what a nice guy. He's like the best guy ever. I can't believe he just gave me the ring. Because, you know, like, who does that? So he has like this random like jewelry appraiser come by one day because they're trying to get an idea of what his jewelry is worth, because he has a lot of jewelry apparently, Hollywood guy. And he remembers, oh shit, there's this ring that I got from Trump. I wonder what it's worth. Fair question. I'd be curious. Platinum, Harry Winston. And he gives it to the appraiser, and the appraiser looks at it and is like, It's like not worth anything. It's like fake. It's like, what the fuck? I can't believe this guy gave me a fake ring and made it seem like it was a big deal. Why is he wearing a fake ring? Is the Whitehouse Ballroom going to be real gold? Or it could be gold paint? I don't know. You know, Nancy, we should have talked about Nancy Pelosi when we talked about San Francisco. Missed opportunity. Nancy Pelosi is in the news because we hate Nancy. Nancy's kind of the worst. She is kind of the evil queen of Washington, D.C., although, you know, we don't really talk about her as much anymore these days. I don't know why. She's kind of fallen out of the news cycle, hasn't she?
She's a lot older. She's no longer, in the seat.
But then we find this really funny, entertaining clip of Nancy Pelosi losing her shit, and we have no choice but to show it.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
Shut up. Look at
She's so happy.
I don't know who this is, but she has this moment. She just knows for a fact that she just got a real good clip.
Yeah. Clip it.
You know? Clip it. Turn it off. I'm calling it a day. Clip it. Put it on TV. Let it roll. You know.
And then there's the Nancy Pelosi aide like behind her.
And she's like,
this
damn
guy.
it.
Yeah, he's
Damn
like,
it. They got
fuck.
it.
Yeah, he's like, damn it.
How do we spin it? How do we make her popular again? Although she was never popular. I don't know how she keeps on getting elected. But watching Nancy Pelosi crash out, it's just something about it that makes me feel really good. But sometimes you see good, funny clips because, I don't know, I consider that the funny clip bin. But then you have Tom Homan talking about children and missing children. Let's just play this real quick.
Out of the 300,000 children, I looked at the numbers just yesterday. We've located over 23,000 of them. So 23,000 locations of the 300,000. Well, President Trump's committed. We're not going to stop till we find every one of them, or at least run every lead down on those 300,000 children. That's a big plus for the administration, because the last administration wasn't even looking for them. So, but as far as with Chicago's coming along with every other sanctuary city.
So
President Trump is committed.
They said that there were 300,000 missing children under the Biden administration. And we've kind of alluded to this. Like, oh, what are they doing with the kids? Are they kidnapping them? And then he comes out, Tom comes out and says, hey, look, we found 23,000 of them. It's like, great. Good job finding the kids. And then, wait, what? Where the hell did you find 23,000 kids? What were they doing? Like, were they kidnapped kids and we found 23,000 children? Because that's kind of what it may sound like. That seems like a pretty big deal, no? We found 23,000 kids, and out of 300,000, where are these kids? Did we really find 23,000 children? I got curious. I'm curious. Were there 23,000 children that were like kidnapped and disappeared, and we finally found them? We've located them. 23,000 kids. Because, I'm going to be honest, if he really found 23,000 missing kids, it'd be like, okay, like the guy deserves an award. He can keep the $50,000 in cash. Right? It was well worth the effort. I don't care that you took $50,000 as a bribe because you found 23,000 kids. Fair exchange. More than fair. Do you know what? Take another 50 grand in bribe money because it's worth it. You did a good job. Right? 23,000 kids missing is a lot of kids, man.
Yeah, it's $2 a kid.
And then you realize, wait a second. 300,000 missing kids and 23,000 kids that they found, they weren't like missing kids. There's people that were undocumented that they didn't have registrations for, and then they've tracked down 23,000. They were actually never in any danger, or were they ever like kidnapped, but they just found the whereabouts because the Palantir system is so good. I was like, wait a second. Okay. You framed that like you saved kids. You framed it like you saved kids. But really, all you did was locate the rounding error on your spreadsheet. It seems like such a weird way to frame that, isn't it?
Oh, he has to look like the good guy since he got caught taking $50,000.
I don't like it when people try to look like the good guy by lying about children. Maybe he didn't lie. He did say locate. Located 23 children. Okay. 23,000 of the 300,000 missing. Well, maybe missing to you, but they weren't like literally physically missing, or were they? We've been down this rabbit hole. I don't know when we did this. About 300,000 missing kids. Biden's kids. But if you found 23,000 of them, it's a great deal. Good job. If you located them by tracking people and you find out that they're actually not missing, then I don't know if something that you like overly be proud about. Don't frame it like you saved the kids. You didn't save the children. Positive note. There is a very positive to all this, however. Very positive note. Because we've seen the news that Larry Ellison's son is going around buying up all these media companies. We've seen this news that they bought Paramount. Oh yeah, we're going to cancel Netflix. Paramount. Now apparently, the son of the largest funder of the IDF, the son of the new owner of TikTok, the son of the owner of Oracle, who only hires Israelis to be his executives, who requires their executives to do a Israeli loyalty pledge. They're now going to buy HBO, CNN, and DC Studios. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that so convenient? Not only will they own Paramount, have the rights to UFC, not only will they own TikTok, not only do they own all the data centers that hold all of your social media information, not only do they have access to all of that already, not only do they already fund foreign militaries, but just in case you were concerned, they will now own, trying to own, working on a deal. They will now own HBO, CNN, and DC. Do you think there will be... Like, HBO is pretty woke as it is. CNN is already pretty left. Although they're trying to center out a little bit. DC... I mean, DC is just like cartoons. No?
Well, the Batman Superman movies.
True. But now it's going to become more Jewish propaganda. It's like what they do. You know, I was watching I had a friend who makes like TikTok videos. And she was a very big MAGA Trump supporter. Huge. And I want to say about 8 months ago, she messaged me. She said, Matt, what the hell? You used to be on our side, and it just seems like you keep on drifting away, and you're being critical about what the administration is doing. You're being critical about all these technology companies. You're being critical of all these things. There's a plan. Like, why can't you wait? I don't understand what's going on with you. And I try to explain. And she's like, no, like this is not it. Okay. Let me know when you wake up. She puts out this TikTok video yesterday. And she says, I was really not trying to go down this rabbit hole. I was really trying to not fall down this conspiracy theory. I was trying my best to stay above all the negativity of what's going on in the world. And then I put into the search on TikTok, put into the search history, Christians rule the world. All these videos pop up. She's like, She typed in, Muslims rule the world. All these videos pop up. She typed in, Jews run the world. Error. No results. And she's like, what the fuck? Because she was not a huge noticer. You know what I mean? But it was so many questions that she just couldn't help it. So she started typing these things, like finding her journey on herself, by herself. So she typed it in, and it says no results. So she took a screenshot of that, put that in a video, saying, hey, what's going on here? And she got a violation for putting up that screenshot. She got a violation on TikTok for putting up a screenshot of what TikTok said. And she's like, dude, what's going on? I was like, dude, you're starting to see what's going on.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. And on top of that, David Ellison, proxy for Larry Ellison, Paramount Studios, UFC, WWE, will also be buying HBO, CNN, and DC. But they don't control the media. Don't worry about it, guys. Talking about Larry Ellison, I don't know who I dislike more, actually, Will. I don't know who I find more concerning right now. Larry Ellison or Peter Thiel? I thought at the beginning of the year, say 12 months ago, I thought that Peter Thiel was the bigger problem. I thought Palantir was the bigger problem. And then you see what Larry Ellison is doing.
I mean, he's the biggest fish in the pond.
Palantir's up there too. Palantir has come out and publicly said Korea is crucial market for AI and hardware fusion. He sees Korea as the next big market. They are having various different partnerships with Hyundai and KT. It's a telecom. And they are expanding. They've had a pop-up store there. They're trying to get people interested in Palantir. They're doing a lot of marketing and branding in Korea. I believe that Alex Karp said that his his ex-wife or whatever was Korean, and they're really into Korea. Look, for the people watching from Korea, because we do have some people that watch from Korea, let me tell you something. Letting these guys into the country is a really bad idea. Letting these guys roll out their surveillance technologies, because already in Korea they do a lot of surveillance. Like in China, there's a lot of surveillance. In Korea, it's also a small country, a little bit easier to do. Letting these guys in, it's not a good thing. You know, I saw these, there was an article that came up in China. They're like, oh, they arrested this Christian pastor. And, you know, a lot of the right-wing accounts are like, no, like, you can't arrest them. They're arresting Christians. And in Korea, they're like, oh, no, they're arresting Christian pastors. And they're arresting them. Like, this is a huge violation of freedom of speech. And they're attacking Christianity. That's what they make it sound like. And on the surface, you know, I'm a Christian. On the surface, I'm like, oh, that's really messed up. They shouldn't do that. But then you actually start to learn about these pastors and these churches. And you find out that they are huge Zionist churches, that they're extremely pro-Israel. And then you're like, oh, shit. These guys are trying to keep the Zionists out. It's not about Christianity. They don't want to let the Zionists in the door because they've been a problem. They're a problem in the United States. They're a problem in a lot of countries they go to. And now, Palantir, like, oh, we're gonna go take Korea. If you're in Korea, I'm telling you, not a good plan. Not a good idea. Do you have a message for young Koreans and investors? One of the questions they asked him in the interview. Stick to your guns. Korean culture is truly special and will help it shine even more. Korea doesn't have any guns. I don't know why he would say that. But that's what he said. That's the daily rundown for today. If you want to support the show, if you want to support the channel, go to patreon.com/freemattkim. We will continue to work on the show, expand the show, so we can give you the quick news and headlines for the day so that we can move on with our lives. And don't worry, guys. If you're still stuck around to this point, Peter will be back. We will do that show also. See you next time.